All right. Let's do it, everybody. This is the final program in our Tyler McConnell Learns How to Do YouTube Semi Professionally series. GIMP is the program of the day. It's definitely the one with the strangest name. And we're going to pull that up and get going on it. So, why did I choose GIMP? Well, I talked about this last night, but if you're just clicking on this for the first time, if you want to make a thumbnail, let me just show you what I've been doing. And I know a lot of people do this because you can just tell. Like, if you try to make a thumbnail for YouTube, you can tell that everybody goes here, or a lot of people go here. So, you pull it up here. Canva. This is where everybody goes. How do I know this is where everybody goes? Well, this is where I've made all mine here recently, as you can see. But if you click YouTube thumbnail, you've got all these thumbnails over here, like this one. And I just saw that thumbnail on a Useful Idiots video. And if you look through these templates, you can just tell it's what everybody uses. And well, let me pull up one I made. I kind of like it because it's just super simplifies the process. And so like this one, you can just upload and stretch just like a PowerPoint slide and then just put that over there. This one, I just put this as the base image and then I added these texts here. This is probably the most involved one I've done. This has multiple layers, and you can I know you can do this in GIMP and Photoshop, but you can kind of like pick the layer and then you can I think right click, send backward. Send backward. See that? And you can bring it forward. I know you can do that in Photoshop too, but Canva just makes it really simple. So I don't know if Canva does everything I want to do. Now there's certain things with like cleaning up an audiobook scan. So I really wanted to learn the content aware tool in Photoshop, which allows you to well, let me just show you. Pull up something here. Find a YouTube short. Content aware fill. Okay. I like this one.
Either the foreground or background.
Let's go. So this guy selects the coffee cup.
A layer to go back to. So we're going to go ahead and press Command J on our keyboard. Once we've done that, we now need to actually select the area we want to remove. Now I find any type of area that I want to remove. Now I want to remove
there you go.
the coffee cup. So as you can see, I have now simply created a selection there. So all we will need to do now is simply remove that area. And we can do this by going up to Edit, and then we're going to go down to Content Fill. So we're going to go and select it here. Now in the Fill tool, we want to go ahead and choose Content Aware. Now you want to make sure we don't choose any of these. We want to make sure Content Aware is selected. And then all you'll need to do is simply click OK. And what will Photoshop do is it'll work out using the surrounding pixels roughly what should be replaced. And as you can see, it is done not too bad of a job. So if I go ahead and just deselect that, you can see that it...
So that looks pretty good. I mean, if you just glance at that, you're probably not going to look at it. You're probably not going to look at it more than once. But I don't want to pay for Photoshop because Photoshop is like, at this point, a monthly subscription. You can't just pay for it once and you're done. All the Adobe products they want you to pay for the rest of your life. And I'm not going to do that. So I started looking around and seeing, is there an open source version of Photoshop? And GIMP is that. GIMP is the open shop version of Photoshop. And I wondered, well, can it do a content aware fill? You have to put in a little extra plugin called Resynthesizer. But
Hello and welcome back to another video.
so
My
let's
name
watch
is Mike
that one.
Davies, and today I'll be
Resynthesizer
showing you
here.
how to download and install the Resynthesizer plugin for GIMP. I'll be using GIMP version 2.10.30, which is
So this is how it works.
And here you'll see it, heel selection. Heel transparency is right below it, but it's grayed out right now because I don't have any transparency on this image. So let's demonstrate the heel selection option. I have my free select tool selected here. So what I'll do is just select the object I want to erase, hit the Enter key, and go to Filters, Enhance, Heel Selection. So now we're going to get this Python foo dialog window, and it says Heel Selection. So context sampling width is the amount of pixels you want to pull from around the image. I'll go with 100 for this. Sample from is the area where you're pulling the pixels. So in this case, we can go all around the selection, but you can choose sides or above and below if you want to restrict it to those areas. And then the filling order, we'll just stick with random, but you can start from the outside here and go inwards, or start from the inside and go outwards. But we're going to go with random here, and I'll click OK. All right, and there you can see it has erased that.
So that'll work. You know, if we can make it work like that. Granted, that's a very simple one. I mean, it's in the sky by itself. I tried to do it on some books, and it just worked horribly. But then I realized I don't know anything about layers. I don't know anything about anything like that. So, we're just going to start from the beginning. Now, I was thinking, like with the program I know how to use, you know, am I going overkill on this? Probably. But I don't know where to start. You open up this program. Let me share this program with you. So I have GIMP downloaded already because I tried to do some stuff with it. And let's see if I can share it. Share window GIMP here. Okay. So yeah, it looks like this when you pull it up. I mean, oh, thank you for dropping by, Karen. This is kind of a technical one. It's just me messing around trying to learn some software. So you're not really missing anything, but that's sweet of you to stop by and say hello. Kind of you. You're a good one, Karen. I'm going to keep you around. You take care, my friend. All right. So I'm going to set the timer for 1 hour. That's my goal. I learn for 1 hour on this stuff every night. And hopefully once the hours add up, I'll know how to do it. Okay. So let's put me down here. And we'll just kind of take a look at these tools. So we have move tool, rectangular select tool, ellipse select, free select tool, scissors select, foreground select, fuzzy select. I mean, okay. I'm already lost. Crop tool, that kind of makes sense. But even something as basic as cropping was kind of complicated in this. But I feel like all these photo editors are this way. Like once you get into the ones that really do whatever you want, there start to be so many menus and it's just kind of all over the place. And you know, I don't know where to start. So I'm just like, I guess I'll start at the very beginning. So I look up GIMP user manual here. And it says GIMP comes with a built-in help system available in dozens of languages. Once you start the program, press F1 for context-sensitive help. You may have to install the help page. Okay. The manual is also available on a dedicated website. So I guess the manual is what I want. Layer masks. I don't really know where to start. This manual is a work in progress. Well, work in progress or not, I mean, I'm just going to try. My lord, this is detailed. but let's share it and look at it. All right. Okay. I think it's this. All right. Does that come up? Yeah, you guys can see that. All right. GIMP, GNU image manipulation program. All right. So if I click that, does it just keep going? No, each page is separate. My goodness. Okay. Getting started. All right. I clicked getting started. Do I want introduction? I guess so. Welcome to GIMP. Chapter 1. GIMP is a multi-platform tool to create and edit images of all kinds. GIMP is an acronym for GNU Image Manipulation Program. Okay. GIMP has many capabilities. It can be used as a simple paint program, an expert quality photo retouching program, a tool to create digital art, an online batch processing system, a mass production image renderer, an image format converter, etc. GIMP is expandable and extensible. It is designed to be augmented with plugins and extensions to do just about anything. The advanced scripting interface allows everything from the simplest task to the most complex image manipulation procedures to be easily scripted. One of GIMP's strengths is its free availability from many sources for many operating systems. Most GNU Linux distributions include GIMP as a standard application. GIMP is also available for other operating systems such as Windows and Mac. GIMP is a free software application covered by the GPL version 3. Provides users with the freedom to access and alter the source code that makes up computer programs. Okay. GIMP was created by these guys, Peter Mattis and Spencer Kimball. Over the many years, many other people have contributed by helping with development testing. Okay. The GIMP help system. The GIMP documentation provides the information that tries to help you understand how to use GIMP. The user manual is an important part of this help. The latest version is always available on the website, which I think is this. The HTML version is also available as context-sensitive help. It needs to be installed separately while using GIMP by pressing the F1 key. Help on specific menu items can be accessed by pressing the F1 key while the mouse pointer is focused on the menu item. Read on to begin your GIMP journey. Okay. It's hard to read this GIMP this many times without thinking of Pulp Fiction, but we'll eventually get over that. The following list is a short overview of some of the features and capabilities which GIMP offers you. A full suite of painting tools, including brushes, a pencil, an airbrush, cloning, etc. Tile-based memory management, so image size is limited only by available disk space. Subpixel sampling for all paint tools for high-quality I can never say that word, aliasing. Yeah. Alpha channel support. Oh, I was worried about full alpha channel support. Thank goodness for that, for working with transparency. Layers and channels, a procedural database for calling internal GIMP functions from external programs such as script foo. Advanced scripting capabilities, multiple undo, redo, limited only by disk space. Transformation tools include rotate, scale, shear, and flip. Support for a wide range of file formats, all those ones. I don't see. Oh, there's TIFF. I remember learning TIFF is the best, supposedly. I don't know. PNG is like second best. JPEG. God help you, JPEG. Selection tools, including rectangle, ellipse, free, fuzzy, Bezier, and intelligent scissors. Intelligent scissors. Wow. That could be helpful. Plugins that allow for the easy addition of new file formats and new effect filters. Okay. Okay. So that's 1.3. I'm just going to pull it up and see modules. No, that doesn't do anything. Units. I don't, that's like help. Help. Context help. GIMP online. User manual, basic concepts. Oh, so we'll eventually get there. 2 main windows. Okay. So we'll get there. What's new in GIMP? All right. That's really nothing. Oh, I can click the little arrow here. That's helpful. Fire up GIMP. So we fired it up. We're running it. It works on about everything. I think we found our language. I don't think I'm going to be running many command line arguments. So chapter 2 there was pretty simple. We've started GIMP. GIMP provides tips you can read at any time using the tip of the day. I could probably help that. GIMP seems to suddenly, you can use getting unstuck may help you out. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we're getting there. Because I saw that in the other one. So here we go. Chapter 3. First steps with Wilbur. Is Wilbur the mascot? Mr. Wilbur? Is he the GIMP mascot? I sure hope so. All right. Well, let's read through this here. Wilbur is the GIMP mascot. Thank you, Tuomas Kussmann. This section provides a brief introduction to the basic concepts and terminology used in GIMP. The concepts presented here are explained in much greater depth elsewhere. With a few exceptions, we have avoided cluttering this section with a lot of links and cross-references. Everything mentioned here is so high level that you can easily locate it in the index. Images are the basic entities used by GIMP. Roughly speaking, an image corresponds to a single file, such as TIFF or JPEG file. You can also think of an image as corresponding to a single display window, although in truth, it is possible to have multiple windows all displaying the same image. It is not possible to have a single window display more than one image, though, or for an image to have no window displaying it. A GIMP image may be quite a complicated thing. Instead of thinking of it as a sheet of paper with a picture on it, think of it more like a stack of sheets called layers. In addition to a stack of layers, a GIMP image may contain a selection mask, a set of channels, and a set of paths. In fact, GIMP provides a mechanism for attaching arbitrary pieces of data called parasites to an image. I think I can zoom in on this a little bit more. This is helpful to read through this like this because it's so confusing. I mean, I tried to use Photoshop like just intuitively, like how I would Microsoft Word or something, but these kind of programs, I just don't think you can do that. I mean, I'm sure certain people are very talented at. I had a friend in high school with Fruity Loops, and he just could figure it out. He could do amazing things with it just by messing with it, and I would just get frustrated. I'd mess with it, and these kind of programs are like that for me. So I felt like, just read RTFM, as I keep saying. So that's what I'm doing. In GIMP, it is possible to have many images open at the same time. Although large images may use many megabytes of memory, GIMP uses a sophisticated tile-based memory management system that allows GIMP to handle very large images gracefully. There are limits, however, and having more memory available may improve system performance. That's another thing for I'm going to run out of StreamYard space. They give you 20 free hours a month. And then I'm by necessity, because I am going to keep doing this every day. I'm going to learn OBS or Streamlabs OBS, just so I can keep going. This, as long as this works, I don't mind the little duck on there. It's just so easy. If you want to stream, do the 20 hours on StreamYard until you start clipping that out, because StreamYard is so easy if you want to do this at all. Okay. Layers. If a simple image can be compared to a single sheet of paper, an image with layers is likened to a sheaf of transparent papers stacked one on top of the other. Okay. You can draw on each paper, but still see the content of the other sheets through the transparent areas. You can also move one sheet, in relation to the others. Sophisticated GIMP users often deal with images containing many layers, even dozens of them. Layers need not be opaque, and they need not cover the entire extent of an image. So when you look at an image's display, you may see more than just the top layer. You may see elements of many layers. Resolution. Digital images consist of a grid of square pixels. Each image has a size measured in 2 dimensions, such as 900 pixels wide by 600 pixels high. But pixels don't have a set size in physical space. To set up an image for printing, we use a value called resolution, defined as the ratio between an image's size in pixels and its physical size, usually in inches, when it is printed on paper. Most file formats, but not all, can save this value, which is expressed as PPI, pixels per inch. When printing a file, the resolution determines the size the image will have on paper, and as a result, the physical size of the pixels. The same 900 by 600 image pixel may be printed as a small 3x2 card with barely noticeable pixels, or as a large poster with large chunky pixels, like old Rasterbaiter. I always liked that website. Images imported from cameras and mobile devices tend to have a resolution attached to the file. The resolution is usually 72 or 96 ppi. It is important to realize that this resolution is arbitrary and was chosen for historic reasons. You can also change the resolution with GIMP. This has no effect on the actual image pixels. Furthermore, for uses such as displaying images online, on mobile devices, television, or video games, in short, any use that does not print, the resolution value is meaningless and is ignored. Instead, the image is usually displayed so that each image pixel conforms to one screen pixel. A channel is a single component of a pixel's color. For a colored pixel in GIMP, these components are usually red, green, blue, and sometimes transparency, alpha. For a grayscale image, they are gray and alpha, and for an indexed color image, they are indexed and alpha. The entire rectangular array of any one of the color components for all of the pixels in an image is also referred to as a channel. You can see these color channels with the channels dialog. When the image is displayed, GIMP puts these components together to form the pixel colors for the screen, printer, or other output device. Some output devices may use different channels from red, green, and blue. If they do, GIMP's channels are converted into the appropriate ones for the device when the image is displayed. Channels can be useful when you're working on an image which needs adjustment in one particular color. For example, if you want to remove red eye from a photograph, you might work on the red channel. You can look at channels as masks, which allow or restrict the output of the color that the channel represents. By using filters on the channel information, you can create many varied and subtle effects on an image. A simple example of using a filter on the colors channel is the channel mixer filter. In addition to these channels, GIMP also allows you to create other channels, or more correctly, channel masks, which are displayed in the lower part of the channels dialog. You can create a new channel or save a selection to a channel mask. See the glossary entry on masks for more information about channel masks. Selections. When modifying an image, you only want a part of the image to be affected. The selection mechanism makes this possible. Each image has its own selection, which you normally see as a moving dashed line separating the selected parts from the unselected parts, the so-called marching ants. Actually, this is a bit misleading. Selection in GIMP is graded, not all or nothing, and really the selection is represented by a full-fledged grayscale channel. The dashed line that you normally see is simply a contour line at the 50% selected level. At any time, though, you can visualize the selection channel in all its glorious detail by toggling the Quick Mask button. Okay. A large component of learning how to use GIMP effectively is acquiring the art of making good selections. Selections that contain exactly what you need and nothing more. Because selection handling is so centrally important, GIMP provides many tools for doing it. An assortment of selection making tools, a menu of selection operations, and the ability to switch to quick mask mode, in which you can treat the selection channel as though it were a color channel, thereby painting the selection. Undoing. When you make mistakes, you can undo them. Nearly everything you can do to an image is undoable. In fact, you can usually undo a substantial number of the most recent things you did if you decide that they were misguided. GIMP makes this possible by keeping a history of your actions. The history consumes memory, though, so undoability is not infinite. Some actions use very little undo memory, so that you can do dozens of them before the earliest ones are deleted from this history. Other types of actions require massive amounts of undo memory. You can configure the amount of memory GIMP allows for the undo history of each image, but in any situation, you should always be able to undo at least your 2 to 3 most recent actions. The most important action that is not undoable is closing an image. For this reason, GIMP asks you to confirm that you really want to close the image if you made any changes to it. Plugins. Many, probably most, of the things that you do to an image in GIMP are done by the GIMP application itself. However, GIMP also makes extensive use of plugins, which are external programs that interact very closely with GIMP and are capable of manipulating images and other GIMP objects in very sophisticated ways. Many important plugins are bundled with GIMP, but there are also many available by other means. In fact, writing plugins and scripts is the easiest way for people not on the GIMP development team to add new capabilities to GIMP. All of the commands in the filters menu and a substantial number of commands in other menus are actually implemented as plugins. Scripts. In addition to plugins, which are programs written in the C language, GIMP can also make use of scripts. The largest number of existing scripts are written in a language called script-foo, which is unique to GIMP for those who care. It is a dialect of the Lisp-like language called Scheme. It is also possible to write GIMP scripts in Python or Perl. These languages are more flexible and powerful than script-foo. Their disadvantage is that they depend on software that does not automatically come packaged with GIMP, so they are not guaranteed to work correctly in every GIMP installation. All right, I think we're finally getting on the next page to how to actually start using the program. Yes, right here. Main windows. A GIMP user interface is now available in 2 modes, multi-window mode and single window mode. When you open GIMP for the first time, it opens in single window mode by default. You can enable multi-window mode by unchecking the Windows single window option in the menu in the image menu bar. After quitting GIMP, GIMP will start in the mode you have selected next time. So multi-window mode here, I guess you got, are these the windows? 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I think this is, okay, they're labeled here. The screenshot above shows the most basic multi-window arrangement for GIMP that can be used effectively. you will see two panels, left and right, and an image window in the middle. A second image is partially masked. The left panel contains the toolbox as well as tool options, device status, undo history, and images dialogues together. The right panel contains brushes, patterns, fonts, and document history dialogues together in a multi-tab dock, and layers, channels, and paths dialogues together in another multi-tab dock. The main toolbox. It contains a set of icon buttons used to select tools. By default, it also contains the foreground and background colors. You can add brush, pattern, gradient, and active image icons. Use edit preferences toolbox to enable or disable the extra items. Okay, so that's all our tools right there in the top left. We kind of intuited that one. Number 2 is right here. These are the options for the tool we have selected, I'm guessing. Yep. Number 3 is the image window. So that's where the image we're working with hangs out. Each image open in GIMP is displayed in a separate window. Many images can be open at the same time, limited only by the system resources. Before you can do anything useful in GIMP, you will need to have at least one image window open. The image window holds the menu of the main commands of GIMP, file, edit, select, which you can also get by right-clicking on the window. Okay, an image can be bigger than the image window. In that case, GIMP displays the image in a reduced zoom level, which allows you to see the full image in the image window. If you turn to the 100% zoom level, scroll bars appear, allowing you to pan across the image. Number 4, right here, up here in the top right of the program, we have the brushes, patterns, fonts, document history dock. Note that the dialogues in the dock are tabs. The brushes tab is open. It shows the type of brush used by paint tools. Okay, and then finally we have 5 layers, channels, paths. So that's the bottom right, I believe. Layers, channels, paths. And this is the docked dialog. Below the brushes dialog shows the dialogues tabs. Excuse me, for managing layers, channels, and paths. The layers tab is open. It shows the layer structure, the currently active image, and allows it to be manipulated in a variety of ways. It is possible to do a few very basic things without using the layers dialog, but even moderately sophisticated GIMP users find it indispensable to have the layers dialog available at all times. So, layers is super important. I know it is in Photoshop as well, from what I understand. Single window mode, a screenshot illustrating the single window mode. I don't know what the difference is. They look almost exactly the same. I guess this one has like windows stacked on top of one another, and this one just has one. It looks like you can like choose the photo up here, maybe. You find the same elements with differences in their management. Left and right panels are fixed. You can't move them, but you can decrease or increase their width by dragging the moving pointer that appears when the mouse pointer overflies the right border of the left pane. If you want to keep the left pane narrow, please use the scroll bar at the bottom of the tool options to pan across the options display. If you reduce the width of a multi-tab dock, there may be not enough room for all tabs. Then arrowheads appear, allowing you to scroll through tabs. Okay. I think I get that. As in multi-window mode, you can mask these panels using the tab key. And the image window occupies all space between both panels. When several images are open, a new bar appears above the image window with a tab for every image. You can navigate between images by clicking on tabs or either using Control page up or page down or Alt plus number. Number is tab number. You must use the number keys of the upper line of your keyboard, not that of keypad Alt-Shift necessary for some keyboards. This is a minimal setup. There are over a dozen other types of dialogues used by GIMP for various purposes, but users typically open them when they need them and close them when they're done. Knowledgeable users generally keep the toolbox with tool options and layers dialog open at all times. The toolbox is essential to many GIMP operations. The tool options section is actually a separate dialog shown docked to the main toolbox in the screenshot. Knowledgeable users almost always have it set up this way. It is very difficult. You ever read something and it just goes straight over your head, even though you just read it. Okay, so knowledgeable users keep the toolbox open and layers dialog. Okay. The toolbox is essential to many GIMP operations. The tool options section is actually a separate dialog shown docked to the main toolbox in the screenshot. Knowledgeable users almost always have it set up this way. It is very difficult to use tools effectively without being able to see how their options are set. Okay. The layers dialog comes into play when you work with an image with multiple layers. After you advance beyond the most basic stages of GIMP expertise, this means almost always. I like whoever wrote this. They're fun. And of course, it helps to display the images you are editing on the screen. If you close the image window before saving your work, GIMP will ask you whether you want to close the file. Following sections walk you through the components of each of the windows shown in the screenshot, explaining what they are and how they work. Once you've read them, plus the section describing the basic structure of GIMP images, you should have learned enough to use GIMP for a wide variety of basic image manipulations. You can then look through the rest of the manual at your leisure, or just experiment, to learn the almost limitless number of more subtle and specialized things that are possible. Have fun. Okay. The toolbox. Here's the screenshot of the toolbox. I'm excited to learn what each of the tools do, because you just kind of like look at the tools and it's hard to even know what they do. They have kind of amorphous names. Yeah. Hey, anti-woke communist. I'm doing good, man. I'm just trying to learn all these YouTube tools from the top. I thought I could turn my learning of them into helpful things for other people that want to learn them. You can watch me stumble through it together. It's probably not the most entertaining thing. I think it'll just be kind of a cool factor when I get to like number 74 and I can really do cool stuff with it. And then you can look back and be like, wow, he really didn't know anything. That's kind of neat. That's the idea. All right, so here's the screenshot of the toolbox. The toolbox is the heart of GIMP. Here's a quick tour of what you will find there. In the toolbox, as in most parts of GIMP, moving the mouse over something and letting it rest for a moment usually displays a tooltip that describes the thing. Shortcut keys are also frequently shown in the tooltip. In many cases, you can hover the mouse over an item and press the F1 key to get help about the thing that is underneath the mouse. By default, only the foreground background icon is visible. You can add brush pattern gradient icons and active image icon through Edit Preferences Toolbox. Okay. Tools configuration. Tool icons. These icons are buttons which activate tools for a wide variety of purposes. Selecting parts of images, painting an image, transforming an image, etc. Section 1, the toolbox, gives an overview of how to work with tools, and each tool is described systematically in the tools chapter. Okay. In GIMP 2.10.18, these icons can be tool groups. Okay. 2, foreground, background colors. The color areas here show you GIMP's current foreground and background colors, which come into play in many operations. Clicking on either one of them brings up a color selector dialog that allows you to change to a different color. Clicking on the double-headed arrow swaps the two colors, and clicking on the small symbol in the lower left corner resets them to black and white. Brush pattern gradient. The symbols here show you GIMP's current selections for the paintbrush used by all tools that allow you to paint on the image. Painting includes operations like erasing and smudging, by the way. For the pattern, which is used in filling selected areas of an image, and for the gradient, which comes into play whenever an operation requires a smoothly varying range of colors. Clicking on any of these symbols brings up a dialog window that allows you to change it. Active image. In GIMP, you can work with many images at once, but at any given moment, only one image is the active image. Here you find a small iconic representation of the active image. Click the icon to display a dialog with a list of the currently open images. Click an image in the dialog to make it active. Usually, you click an image window in multi-window mode or an image tab in single window mode to make it the active image. You can drop to an XDS file manager to save the image. XDS is an acronym for X Direct Save Protocol, an additional feature for the X Window System graphical user interface for Unix-like operating systems. That's nice of them to explain that. Most of these things do not explain their acronyms. At every start, GIMP selects the brush color pattern you used when quitting your previous session because the Save Input Device Settings on exit is checked by default. If you uncheck it, GIMP will use a color, a brush, and a pattern by default, always the same. The toolbox window displays Wilbur's eyes along the top of the dialog. You can click, drag, and drop an image from the file browser into this area to open it. You can get rid of this logo by unchecking the Show GIMP logo option in the toolbox page of preferences. Okay. So we're making some progress. Main windows. I am getting a better understanding. I haven't really got into learning anything really crazy new yet, but I'm glad I'm getting it all in. This is helpful. Now we're getting into things that have started to frustrate me because I didn't understand why they worked that way. Image window. GIMP user interface is available in two modes: single window mode, default, and multi-windows mode that you can get unchecking the Windows single window option. When you start GIMP without any image open, the image window seems to be absent in single window mode, while in multi-window mode, an image window exists. Even if no image is open, we will begin with a brief description of the components that are presented by default in an ordinary image window. Some of the components can be removed by using commands in the View menu. The image window in multi-window mode. Okay. The image area in single window mode. Despite single window mode, we will use image window for image area. Okay. Number one is the title bar. That shows what the name of the image is, I'm guessing. The title bar in an image window without an image displays GNU image manipulating program. An image window with an image displays the image name and its specifications in the title bar according to the settings and preference dialog. The title bar is provided by the operating system, not by GIMP, so its appearance is likely to vary with the operating system, window manager, and or theme. Okay. If you have opened a non-XCF image, it is imported as a XCF file, and its original name appears in the status bar at the bottom of the image window. When an image is modified, an asterisk appears in front of its title. I guess is this the default format for GIMP.xcf? Okay, so that's number one. Here's number two. The image menu. Directly below the title bar appears the menu bar, unless it has been suppressed. The image menu provides access to nearly every operation you can perform on an image. You can also right-click on an image to display a pop-up image menu, or by left-clicking on the little arrowhead symbol in the upper left corner called the menu button, described just below. Many menu commands are also associated with keyboard shortcuts as shown in the menu. You can define your own custom shortcuts for menu actions. If you enable use dynamic keyboard shortcuts in the preferences dialog. Okay. I think I got all that. Menu button, that's number 3. This right here. Click the menu button to display the image menu in a column, essentially in full screen mode. If you like to use keyboard shortcuts, use Shift F10 to open the menu. I feel these are going to be different on Mac. Maybe that's Shift FN, F10, maybe. I don't know. Number 4, the ruler. Where's that at? Up and down, I guess. In the default layout, rulers are shown above and to the left of the image. Use the rulers to determine coordinates within the image. The default unit for rulers is pixels. Use the settings described below to use a unit other than pixels. One of the most important uses of rulers is to create guides. Click and drag a ruler into the image to create a guide. Okay. A guide is a line that helps you accurately position things or verify that another line is truly horizontal or vertical. Using the Move tool, you can click and drag a guide. Drag a guide out of the image to delete it. You can always drag another guide into the image. You can even use multiple guides at the same time. I feel like that's something I may need to look up a video to watch someone else actually do it. Does that mean I can like click in number 4 and like drag it over into the image and make a guide from that? Is that what that means? I don't know. Okay. 2 small arrowheads pointing vertically and horizontally. Okay. Number 5, quick mask toggle. Where's that at? Right here, down here. There's a small button in the lower left corner. The image toggles the quick mask on and off. When the quick mask is on, the button is outlined in red. See quick mask for more details on this highly useful tool. So we're going to get to quick mask at 2.2.4. So it's coming up. We'll get there eventually. Pointer coordinates, number 6. I guess that's right there, where exactly your latitude and longitude in the image. When the pointer mouse cursor, if you're using the mouse, is within the image boundaries, the rectangular area in the lower left corner of the window displays the current pointer coordinates. The units are the same as for rulers. Okay. Number 7, units menu, right there. Looks like pixels they have selected. You can change the units used for rulers and several other purposes. The default unit is pixels, but you can quickly change to inches, centimeters, or several other possibilities using this menu. Note that the setting of dot for dot in the view menu affects how the display is scaled. See dot for more information. 8, zoom button. Right here, how zoomed in we are. There are a number of ways to zoom the image in or out, but the zoom button is perhaps the simplest. You can directly enter a zoom level in the text box for precise control. 9 is the status area. 9 right there. Status area is at the bottom of the image window. By default, the status area displays the original name of the image.xcf file and the amount of system memory used by the image. Please use Edit, Preferences, Image Windows, Title, and Status to customize the information displayed in the status area. During time-consuming operations, the status area temporarily shows the running operation and how complete the operation is. Note that the memory used by the image is very different from the image file size. For instance, a 70 kilobyte PNG image may occupy 246 kilobytes in RAM when displayed. There are two primary reasons the difference in memory usage. First, a PNG file is compressed format, and the image is reconstituted in RAM in uncompressed form. Second, GIMP uses extra memory and copies of the image for use by the undo command. Okay. So I thought once we get to the crop tool, I may have you crop some of these book images with me. That's the idea. If you look at the channel Master Key Society, they've obviously photoshopped the crap out of these scans of old books, and they look beautiful. And I know to other people that might seem silly, but I was very interested in that channel because it was like someone else was doing something that I'd wanted to do forever, and they were doing it perfectly, and it was obvious. It literally says, so they're doing everything I do bit by bit. So someone's scanning the book, someone's going through in Photoshop and cleaning it up, making it flat, making it crisp, perfect, black background, super high definition, and then someone's recording the audiobook. Some of them are perfect. Some of them, it's obvious that they just had a few errors and went on. When it comes to audio, I kind of like to just go on because it takes forever to get it just perfect. And then I don't know. Sometimes I think it's endearing to hear someone be like, or not, but you know, like the other night, I just could not say economist for some reason. Anyway, whatever. It's human. 10, cancel button. Right down here. During complex time-consuming operations, usually a plugin, a cancel button temporarily appears in the lower right corner of the window. Use the cancel button to stop the operation. Note, a few plugins respond badly to being canceled, sometimes leaving corrupted pieces of images behind. Okay. Navigation control, number 11, right here. This is a small cross-shaped button at the lower right corner of the image display. Click and hold. Do not release the mouse button on the navigation control to display the navigation preview. The navigation preview has a miniature view of the image with the display area outlined. Use the navigation preview to quickly pan to a different part of the image. Move the mouse while keeping the button pressed. The navigation window is often the most convenient way to quickly navigate around a large image with only a small portion displayed. See navigation dialog for other ways to access the navigation window. If your mouse has a middle button, click drag with it to pan across the image. Okay. Okay. I think I get what that said. 12, inactive padding area. Number 12, inactive padding area. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. When the image dimensions are smaller than the image window, the padding area separates the active image display from the rest of the user interface, so you're able to distinguish between them. You cannot apply any filters or operations in general to the inactive area. Number 13, right here, looks like the image itself. Image display. The most important part of the image window is, of course, the image display, or the canvas. It occupies the central area of the window, surrounded by a yellow dotted line showing the image boundary against a neutral gray background. You can change the zoom level of the image display in a variety of ways, including the zoom setting described below. Image window resize toggle. Without enabling this feature, If you change the size of the image window by click and dragging border limits, the image size and zoom does not change. If you make the window larger, for example, then you will see more of the image. Okay, I need to go up and see which one this is. 14, right there. Okay. By clicking and dragging border limits, the image size and zoom does not change. If you make the window larger, for example, then you will see more of the image. If this button is pressed, however, the image resizes when the window resizes, so that mostly the same portion of the image is displayed before and after the window is resized. Drag and drop an image onto the toolbox window from a file browser to open the image in its own image window or tab. Okay. Dragging an image into the layer dialog adds it to the image as a new layer. Image size and image window size can be different. You can make image fit window or vice versa using two keyboard shortcuts. Control J, this command keeps the zoom level. It adapts window size to image size. The shrink wrap command does the same. And then Control Shift J, this command modifies the zoom level to adapt the image display to the window. Okay, that seems important. All right. Users with an Apple Mac and one button mouse can use Control mouse button instead. Boy, that seems pretty ancient. This guide may have been around a while for the one button Apple mouse. All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour. Coming up on an hour. Okay. Dialogues and docking 2.3. Excited to get to those tools. I think we're getting there here soon. All right. GIMP has great flexibility for arranging dialogues on your screen. A dialog is a moving window which contains options for a tool or is dedicated to a special task. A doc is a container which can hold a collection of persistent dialogues such as the tool, options dialog, brushes dialog, palette dialog, etc. Docs cannot, however, hold non-persistent dialogues such as the preferences dialog or an image window. GIMP has three default docs: the tool options, device status, undo history, and image doc under the toolbox in the left panel. The brushes, patterns, fonts, and document history dock in the upper part of the right panel. The layers, channels, and paths dock in the lower part of the right panel. In these docs, each dialog is in its own tab. In multi-window mode, the toolbox is a utility window and not a dock. In single window mode, it belongs to the single window. Use Windows Dockable Dialogs to view a list of dockable dialogs. Select a dockable dialog from the list to view the dialog. If the dialog is available in a dock, then it is made visible. If the dialog is not in a dock, the behavior is different in multi and single window modes. In multi-window mode, a new window containing the dialog appears on the screen. In single window mode, the dialog is automatically docked to the brush's document history dock as a tab. You can click and drag a tab and drop it in the wanted place, either in the tab bar of a dock to integrate it in the dialog group, or on a docking bar that appears as a blue line when the mouse pointer goes over a dock border to anchor the dialog to the dock. In multi-window mode, you can also click on the dialog title and drag it to the wanted place, integrating a new dialog in a dialog group. Here in multi-window mode, the histogram dialog was dragged to the tab bar of the layers undo dock. Okay. More simple, the add tab command in the tab menu. Anchoring a dialog to a dock border. The histogram dialog dragged to the left vertical docking bar of the right panel, and the result, the dialog anchored to the left border of the right panel. This dialog now belongs to the right panel. So you can arrange dialogs in a multi-column display. Interesting if you work with two screens, one for dialogues, the other for images. Okay. Tip: press the tab key in an image window to toggle the visibility of the docs. This is useful if the docs hide a portion of the image window. You can quickly hide all the docs, do your work, then display all the docs again. Press the tab key inside a doc to navigate through the doc. All that, and I'm still trying to figure out what a doc is. But we'll go on because I don't know. Tab menu. Figure 3.9, a dialog in a doc with the tab menu button highlighted. Okay. In each dialog, you can access a special menu of tab-related operations by pressing the tab menu button, as highlighted in the figure above. Exactly which commands are shown in the menu depends on the active dialog, but they always include operations for creating new tabs, closing, or detaching tabs. Figure 3.10, the tab menu of the layers dialog. Multi-window mode over here. Single window mode over here. The tab menu gives you access to the following commands. Context menu. At the top of each tab menu, an entry opens the dialog's context menu, which contains operations specific to that particular type of dialog. For example, the context menu for the layers tab is layers menu, which contains a set of operations for manipulating layers. Add tab opens into a submenu, allowing you to add a large variety of dockable dialogues as new tabs. This whole section is kind of just going whoosh. Maybe it'll stick in my subconscious somewhere. Close tab. Close the dialog. Closing the last dialog in a doc causes the doc itself to close. Detach tab. Detach the dialog from the doc, creating a new doc with the detached dialog as its only member. It has the same effect as dragging the tab out of the doc and releasing it at a location where it cannot be docked. It's a way to create a paradoxical new window in single window mode. If the tab is locked, the menu item is insensitive and grayed out. Lock tab to dock, prevent the dialog from being moved or detached. When activated, detached tab is insensitive and grayed out. Preview size submenu of a tab menu. Many but not all dialogs have tab menus containing a preview size option, which opens into a submenu, giving a list of sizes for the items in the dialog. See the figure above. For example, the brushes dialog shows pictures of all available brushes. The preview size determines how large the pictures are. The default is medium. Tab style submenu of a tab menu. Tab style opens a submenu, allowing you to choose the appearance of the tabs at the top. See the figure above. 5 choices. Not all are available for every dialog. Icon. Use an icon to represent the dialog type. Current status is only available for dialogs that allow you to select something such as a brush, pattern, gradient, etc. Current status shows a representation of the currently selected item in the tab top. Text. Use text to display the dialog type. Icon and text. Using both an icon and text results in wider tabs. Status and text show the currently selected item and text within the dialog type. Automatic. Default option adapts style according to the available room in the group. Text style uses a lot of space and is not always possible. Okay. View as list, view as grid. These entries are shown in dialogs that allow you to select an item from a set. Brushes, patterns, fonts, etc. You can choose to view the items as a vertical list with the name of each beside it, or as a grid with representations of the items but no names. Each has its own advantages. Viewing as a list gives you more information, but viewing as a grid allows you to see more possibilities at once. The default for this varies across dialogues. For brushes and patterns, the default is a grid. For most other things, the default is a list. When the tree view is view as list, you can use tags. Please see section 3.7 tagging. You can also use a list search field, the list search field. Control F to open the list search field. An item must be selected for this command to be effective. My lord, that all just went whoosh. Okay. The list search field automatically closes after 5 seconds if you do nothing. The search field shortcut is also available for the tree view you get in the brush, font, or pattern option of several tools. Show button bar. Some dialogues display a button bar on the bottom of the dialog. For example, the patterns, brushes, gradients, and images dialogues. This is a toggle. If it is checked, then the button bar is displayed. Button bar on the brushes dialog right there. This option is available in multi-window mode only. This is toggle. If it is checked, then an image menu is shown at the top of the dock. Figure 3.16, a dock with an image menu highlighted. It is not available for dialogues docked below the toolbox. This option is interesting only if you have several open images on your screen. Auto follow active image. This option is available in multi-window mode only. The option is also interesting only if you have several images open on your screen. Then the information displayed in the dock is always that of the selected image in the image selection drop-down list. If the auto follow active image is disabled, the image can be selected only in the image selection. If enabled, you can also select it by activating the image directly, clicking on its title bar, and move to screen. This option is not always available. It opens a submenu where you can choose on which screen you want GIMP to be shown. If you only have one screen, GIMP can't be moved. The other option, Open Display, tells us it is an experimental way to choose a new display and is better left alone. Okay, so next Wednesday, we will start at 3, undoing. I feel like I'm excited to get to the tools. Where is the tools at? Let's try to go see if we can go back and see what chapter the tools are in. Crop an image, that's useful. So it looks like next week we'll start getting to actually some of the stuff that I want to learn. Let's search for tools. Wow. Okay, tools is 14. Scripting, enrich my GIMP. Painting with GIMP. You know, we're just going to go through it. I don't care. How do I become a GIMP wizard? That's a good question. We're trying to figure that out. But next week, we're on 3, undoing. And one day we'll learn how to be a GIMP wizard. It's a pretty good manual. Right in the middle there, I was really enjoying it. I was like, man, I am learning from this. And then at the end, I felt like, oh, this is what I thought this would be, reading about menus. But yeah, so we just read dialogues and docking. We got that done. And when I look back through this next week, I will see that I am on undoing. So, God bless the one person watching. I'm going to shut down the stream and start a new one where I'm going to read the CPI handbook. So, if you like that, what I did, or I inspired you to learn as well, you can check out my Buy Me a Coffee page right there. And if you want to know why I am motivated to learn any of this at all, you can check out political organization I'm a part of, which is cpiusa.org. You can join and not be alone in neoliberal alienating America. So I love y'all. I'll be back in a minute. Peace.